Harihi Om. Sanatana Dharma 101, class number 7. Dhruvante Raja Varuno Dhruvan Devo Brihaspatihi Dhruvanta Indraschagnischa Rashtram Dharayatam Dhruvam. So, the society started flourishing. Refining of the society and Vedic documentation. So we are continuing our discussion on Vedas and we are coming to the end. It is an ocean. We cannot cover everything. We have seen how the civilization flourished, mostly documented in the Rig Veda, in the Sindhu and Saraswati basins. Then people were in the lookout for flat land, plains, with lot of water, comfortable seasons, so on and so forth. So they moved eastwards. Yamuna, Ganges and Saraswati confluence. And people started settling on the banks of Ganges and Yamuna as shown in Yajurveda. So Rigveda is the earliest form and the first ever literature. For us, Sanatanis and even Westerners agree, earliest form of literature. So it is full of knowledge. Vedas are the source of knowledge. They have been the reputed source not only of some of the world's richest and profoundest religions, but of some of its subtlest metaphysical philosophies. This is not my English. This is Shri Aurobindo says about Veda. They have been the reputed source not only of some of the world's richest and profoundest religions, and they also contain subtlest metaphysical, philosophical information. The name borne by this text, this corpus of literature, is Veda. So this is known as Veda, and it is full of ancient forms. He goes on, Aurobindo goes on and says, if you have to define Veda, what is Veda? Sri Aurobindo gives, and it is full of ancient forms and words which do not appear in later speech and have been fixed by intelligent conjecture, a mass even of the words that it has in common with classical Sanskrit seems to bear or at least to admit another significance than in the lower literary tongue. So it's not just a Sanskrit, it has been structured in a form which is so good to hear, which is so good to flow, mellifluous flow of words. Later we call it Sanskrit. It is a form, it's a Vedic text, full of ancient forms. Full of ancient forms, and those words, some words and the way intonations and the way we think of Sanskrit today may be different. So it is a corpus. It is Devavani. It is the breath of the Lord Himself. Yasya nisvasito vedaha rigyajur sama atharvaha. It is atharva, not atharvana. So this is Veda is, let us take it as Veda is a corpus of knowledge. So that knowledge not tells how the civilization evolved many, many thousands of years ago. So now we have come to the later part of Vedic age where people started their activities, the daily activities, the fortnightly activities, the monthly activity, the seasonal activities, all surrounding yaj, yajna, yaga. It comes from the root called yuj. Yuj mane, what is yuj? Yajush, yajush, yuj. Yuj mane, the first basic understanding yuj. Yuj means sangatikarana. Sangatikarane, to unite people. Sangati means to unite. So that's what they said. So people were living in groups to start with, which we define as Gotra. Gotra also has a root from cow, go, because in those days the life revolved around rearing cows and ox and goats, and then people went on to do agriculture. So we saw that the Rig Veda says curses people. It's called at people playing these dice and playing lottery. All those things, it curses them and says, hey people, go and do some active work, krishi karo. So then the society evolved. Then people have to know how to mix with people. That is very important. Refining of the society. So how to behave in a society, very important. So Veda tells it by a good story. Here and there Veda gives lot of stories. So it says that don't hit people when they are down. Don't laugh at the miseries of others. It gives by a nice story. It comes in the Yajurveda. So all the gods, the only one crux of this 2 paragraphs in Veda is to say that do not laugh at the misery of somebody else. If you laugh at somebody else, we don't know what will happen to you. You may be in the same situation. So to tell this, the gravity of this, because society has been refining, beautiful. See, Veda is like this, it's hidden. So it brings the story of the supremest God, in my view, Vishnu. So, and other devatas. The Vedic story tells how to behave in a society. Help people. Jani Janardana Bhava, beautiful story. All the devatas were doing a collective, and that too it talks about Satra Yajna. Satra Yajna means it's not that I alone do an yajna and reap the benefit all alone. I do something but insist that the benefit should come to me. That is Kamyartha. Veda also emphasizes, importantly, it emphasizes collective yajnas for the benefit of the entire society. That is known as Satra. Satra means collective performance. Do things in a collective fashion. So it talks about collective, which is known as Satra Yajna. So Devas are a group of people, take it like that, but Veda says it's Devas. It doesn't explicitly say what kind of Deva. It may be Marut, it may be Ashwini, it may be Indra, it may be Varuna. Because Agni is what they are using, Pratyaksha Devata, and they are offering it to Vishnu. All these Devatas were doing this Satra Yajna, collective Yajna, and offering it to Vishnu, and Agni is the carrier. Vishnu is the supreme God, you don't see. Devatas may be able to see, but they are also using Agni probably as a carrier. That is not specifically if you look at the literal meaning of it. So, but the intention was they pray to Lord Vishnu and they satisfy Vishnu. Vishnu is going to bless them. And what was their interest was they wanted to gain fame. See, that is where, so Veda also in a way marks you. Don't just go for fame. Ask for strength so that you will be able to contribute to the society. That's the hidden meaning. 2 gems. But these devas were trying to get themselves to a higher level of fame. So maybe Indra wants fame. He wants to be the superior. Indra is called as Rajadi Raja. Varuna is called Raja. So Indra is called the monarch. Varuna is called the king. Okay. So they all wanted to preserve their spots. How beautiful the story goes. Then they make oblation to Vishnu. Tesham makham Vaishnavam yasha archata. Vaishnavam archata. They pray to Lord Vishnu. Vaishnavam Vishnu. They prayed to Vishnu. Vishnu came. Look at this. We have to take it, Veda is personifying Vishnu to be a person. Okay, but he is a supreme Devata. But Veda wants to instruct us. So, Vishnu also got tempted. So Vishnu wanted to take the entire fame and push these devas aside. Devas got hurt. So they started fighting with Vishnu. We have a Vishnu in our group. Vishnu means Vyapti iti Vishnu, the ever pervading, the omnipresent. Okay. So how, see, so the ego comes in, all the devatas are on one side, Vishnu on the other side. Vishnu gets his bow and arrow. Bow on the left hand side, arrows on the right hand side. Vishnu and the devatas start fighting. The reason was everybody got intoxicated for fame, which you should not. Okay. Then Vishnu became victorious. And Vishnu started telling people, look, you people were a bunch of folks there as a group, whereas I was a single person, I conquered you. And Vishnu started laughing, mocking at those people who were defeated. Veda gives the story. Then these people understood, these devatas understood their situation and said, oh, we ran about the mortal fame. We should have sought the immortal Amrit. We should have prayed to Vishnu. What was the thing Veda asks us to do? Veda says, do good. Sangachatvam samvadatvam. That's what Rigveda ends. Samvo vanamsi janatam. Let's all be united with one sight. That to be service to the Supreme, service to the world. But all these people lost their focus. They wanted something for themselves. More importantly, they wanted fame. These people came to senses and they prayed the Supreme. And they prayed the Supreme and took away the valor of Vishnu and put it in a tree. It's a story. So Veda tells this as a story. This comes in a yajna because they want to get this herb. It's called Syamantaka. Smaya mane laughter. So the Veda says Vishnu laughed, smaya, smayati, and then the devas came into senses and they prayed to the Supreme, and then they culled the valor of Vishnu and brought everything into a herb or a plant. I am not sure what it is. Syamaka is the plant. I have not done research on it, but take it that there was a plant. And the people who did were called Smayaka. Shyamaka was the plant, and the people who brought the valor of Vishnu and then concentrated that in the herb were known as Smayaka, because it comes from the root smita mane happiness or laughter. Then these people tell to Vishnu that you see, you laughed. This is a lesson to the people, that do not insult others. Try to help others. So it gives this story when it instructs the Yajamana who was doing the yaga, one of the Soma yaga. It brings the story like this. So when you are doing yaga, hey Yajamana, hey person, give up your ego. Do not laugh at somebody's misery. Try to help. You see, yaga's thing was this. So to do this, to tell the important life lesson, how to behave when some people is hit, don't go and hit them. Rather give them a hand. Do not laugh at others. So Veda gives like this. So when you are doing yaga, sacrifice your ego as if you are sacrificing, putting oblation of Grita or Dadi or Purodasha. So sacrifice the ego. Lift up your spirit, lift up the spirit of others. So if some instance happens during yajna and you want to mock on others, or something gives you an uncontrollable laughter looking at the state of others, try to avoid it. So Veda says when such things come, Close your mouth. That means hold up your senses. Think that one day you might also be facing such a situation. This is Veda. So like this it goes. And then when the society starts refining, first and foremost, how to behave in the society. It tells how to talk. It says, hey Manushya, Shabda. The first primordial thing that was existing was Shabda or Nada Brahma. Nada itself is Brahma. We don't have a written word those days. So it is only Sabda. Sabda was ever prevailing. Sabda is nothing but the breath of the Supreme. So the Supreme and the breath are the Sabda, or the Veda cannot be separated. And Vedas are edicts, but they are for refining of the society. So when you hear the sound, the rishis saw that, and then they imbibed, and then they started preaching. So then the words started coming. So there are different forms, manifestation of Shabda. Please, people, understand the word or the Sabda. I interchangingly use that. So the Sabda and the manifestation form which you can see is word. In Sanskrit it is called Vacham or Vak. First and foremost, the Veda says, treat this as sacred. Devim Vacham Ajanayanta Deva Tam Vishwarupa Pashavo Vadanti. So, this word, don't spill words. Don't use words cheaply. Those are precious. If you guard your mouth, world war will not happen. Loose tongue, we call it. So, Veda says, tongue is not loose, tongue is precious. Devi Imva, because it has emanated from that Supreme Deva. Of course, it's Sabda. Then one manifestation form is the word. Okay, then it becomes Sabda. Then later on, probably in the later part of 1800s, that's where Vedas were started written up. Before that, it was only Uchcharana and Anucharana. So the society developed, then people have to converse. One Gotra people have to converse with the other Gotra people. We saw that. Earlier, people were living separately. That is known from again Rig Veda. If you look at Rig Veda, the third mandala is always about Vishwamitra Rishi. Then one mandala is all about Vasishtha and his progenies. So likewise, people were living Gotra-wise separated, but the society has to develop. That's very clear. That is the reason if you look at Rig Veda and open the Rig Veda, mandalas are grouped according to the rishis and their progenies. Gayatri mantra was seen by sage Vishwamitra. He comes in the third mandala. Third mandala, last sukta. That's where Tat Saviturvarenyam is there. Okay, that is all about Vishwamitra and his Gotra. The next one will be Vasishtha. Brihat Samhita, like that rishis come. And only ninth mandala, it is based on one particular Deva. That is nothing but Soma, which is the oblation offering to Indra. Okay, so that is there. So you could see that these people have to start mixing. How do you start mixing? Do you do sign language? You can, but when you have tongue and God has given you, that's God's blessing, talk. And then in Brahmana portion, so we have finished Yajurveda. Now people are mixing, mingling, and they are doing their own activities. And the activities, what is the first and foremost activity? Okay, Sandhya Vandan. Sandhya Vandan is basically the required form. It's not Srauta. It is not explicitly put in the Veda, but it has been carved. Those mantras have been carved out by rishis, and it is you can take it as Rauta karma or Smarta karma. The rishis asked you to do this. It's like cleaning your teeth before drinking coffee. Okay, don't ask me, I take the bad coffee. Okay, let's not nitpick. But it's assumed that you brush your teeth and then have a first cup of coffee or tea. Okay, so likewise, that's a prelude to daily activity. And then Veda starts with fortnightly activity. We saw that. So the Yajurveda begins with the fortnightly activity on the day after new moon or on the day after full moon, which is called Darshapurna Ishti, which is for your wantings. You want something, then you do this Darshapurna Ishti. Then comes 4-month yajna, then comes seasonal yajna, then goes to Jyotishtoma. Vasante vasante Jyotishtome yajante. In every spring season, you have to do Jyotishtoma. Then you keep doing that so on and so forth until you reach Sapta Soma Yajna, Sapta Paka Yajna, likewise Sapta Havir Yajna. Okay, the epitome is Ashwamedha. Ashwamedha only Chakravartis can perform. Leave it. So you do up to Vajapayam. Vajapayam is characterized by 17 oblations, 17 gifts. Okay, 17 horses, all sorts we studied. So now we are coming into daily activity. When daily activity comes, you have to mix with the people in the society. You have to start talking, expressing your views. That's one thing. We say that Vedas or the Sanatana Dharma is top down. No. It gives instruction top down from rishis, then rishis, progenies, then our forefathers. But it always gives room for us to exchange ideas. Krishna specifically says in Bhagavad Gita, Bodhayantah parasparam, tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. Bodhayanta, hey Arjuna, I'm only discussing with you. Parasparam bodhayantaha. With the expectation that I will also learn, or I will bodhayantah parasparam, so that I will learn, you learn, both of us learn, more importantly, both of us exchange ideas. That will make you happy, it will make me happy. In other words, it will enlighten us. So that is the essence of Sanatana Dharma. Although it tells, Sastra dictates, rishis have seen, they transfer that generations after generation. But how do they transfer? By interaction. Okay, so how do you interact? In those days, there were no palm leaves. I'm talking about early Vedic stage, no palm leaf. So they have to relay. So they have to talk. How they talk? The way they talk itself has to convey some feeling. I'm getting that. So the way one talks itself has to convey some meaning. So that is why the swaras came in a way. Although the swaras are all God's form, but still you can take it if you want to dissect it. So they conversed with their disciples, pupils, and the society, and that is given in the Veda in form of intonations. And Veda itself tells how you should tell the Veda, because it has to convey some bhava, it has to convey some feeling, it has to convey some thoughts. Giti shigri shirakanti tatha likita patakaha anartagnaha alpakantascha shadete pataka adhamaha. It tells 6 types of things you should not do. You should not drag. Of course, Samaveda you should in a musical form, but that doesn't mean that you should keep on dragging. Giti. And then you should not rush. Shigri. Unnecessarily you should not put some actions. Shirakanti. You should not waver your head all the time or nod your head. Giti, Shigri, Shirakanti. And then in those days there were no writing. So don't even write on the sand. Then you may question, okay, you told that in those days there were no palm leaves. That came as a society refined. Then people started slowly writing on the sand later on. But earlier They were only interested in interacting face to face. That's what I'm coming. So you see, that's even today what you say. If you have to catch somebody who you think has lied, go and look him in his ears, eyes. That's what we say even today. Unknowingly, we have inherited some Vedic practices. So, if you lie, your eyes will show. Okay? So, that is the thing. Your eyes will show. So, what did Giti? Shigri. Shigri means fast. Shirakanti, nodding the heads or putting some gestures, unnecessary gesture. Tata likita patakaha, lekanam mane to write. Then anartagnaha, without understanding. And then muttering, alpakantaha. You should neither raise it in a loud voice nor mutter among yourself. Alpakantascha, all these 6 forms are no. It is adhama. So it also tells, Rishis framed a code how to learn Veda, how to recite Veda. Then, because that is the reason Rishis emphasized and they told people to their pupil, look, you are getting the devatas in your tongue. Be cautious. And always ask permission before you speak. So, Devim Vacham Ajanayanta Devaha Tam Vishwarupah Pashavo Vadanti. There are different forms of expression. Then somebody asks, I'm speaking. Hey, preceptor, I'm hearing from you. The cow is also making some noise. Dog is barking. Okay. How do I understand that? Please take it that there are different ways of expression. Pashavo vadanti. A lot of ways. Cows interact in their own way. You say ba ba ba, cow can come. At least some interaction happens between you because your duty is to rear those cows. So you go down to the level which the cows will understand. Devim Vacham Ajanayanta means came. Deva from the God, Supreme God. Devim Vacham Ajanayanta Deva Tam Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa, different forms. Pashavo Vadanti. Pashu mane, even including human beings. So we speak in one form. Cows speak in one form. Crows speak in one form. When it comes to human being, our words of expression, our ways of expression is refined. Turiyam vacham manushya vadanti. It's a refined form. Turiyam means literally it is 4th stage, but you can take it. That people, when it comes to human being, they have a refined form of speech. Turiyam vacham manushya vadanti. Devim vacham ajanayanta deva. Tam vishwarupa pashavo vadanti. Okay, all these are in Yajurveda. So assume that we have understood what is told in Rigveda. Now we are coming to daily activities. The first way is expressing. There were no videos or anything in those days. Only expression among people were, of course, sign language. But when you have a gift of tongue, talk. And it first and foremost says, guard your tongue. Devim vacham ajanayanta deva. And in the crowd, how should you behave? It says, when you see a group of people, ask permission from them. Parishad. Parishad means union, group. So that is why, what did I say? Knowingly or unknowingly, we are inheriting certain Vedic practices or Vedic teachings in our activities, whether it is our daily activity or whether it is Kriya or whether it is every activity. It will first, an activity begins by seeking the blessings of the people assembled there, the gathering. In Sanskrit, the gathering is known as Parishad. So everywhere you go to temple, the priest will begin after Ganapati Avahanam, whatever it is, Visvaksena Aradhana, he will say, Hey Parishad Bhavat Padamule, I am seeking blessings as a servant to this society. Padamula means foot. That means service. I am being servant to this group. Please bless me to start this activity. So I am giving you some gift because you are giving your time. So please take it. Am I allowed to do this duty? Then Veda doesn't stop. Then when it comes to making the place auspicious, or when it comes to, and then it begins by bestowing blessings to you. Benediction. Right? In Western theology you say benediction. So Veda does it. Very importantly, see, if you say, I have to, oh Rachel, may auspiciousness come to you. Hey Vishnu, let it come to you. We expect that. But here that's what I'm saying, how Veda takes it. This we do without knowing the meaning. We are doing it. So what happens? So the priest tells you stand up, and you stand as a dampati, husband and wife or whatever it is, with all auspicious things in your hand, coconut, betel nut, whatever it is, or even flowers, whatever it is available. You pray and then you seek the auspiciousness. There, what in turn they say, the priest or the assembly, let's say that the assembly blesses you, and the blessing, what do you think the blessing should be? Oh, Rachel, I wish you the strength. Vishnu, I wish you wealth. But wish the blessing, this we do. Next time when you do some puja at your home, pay attention. When a Pandit comes to Hema Mehta's house, Pandit Ji, see, of course she is in Gujarat, mostly it will be Shukla Yajurved and Samaved. Okay. Gujarat is known, Gujarat and West Bengal are the hub for Samaved in those days. Leave it alone. And mostly Shukla Yajurved. So watch what he will say. Namo vache yachodita chanudita namo vache. He begins by saying praise to the word namo vache. What is the connection? You are building a house, housewarming. You ask the assembled gathering. It doesn't discriminate men and women. That also you should know. We have already stated, women also were respected and they inherited wealth. We saw that. So it only says gathering. It doesn't say man gathering. Okay? E parishad. Okay. Then these people, learned gathering, take it like that. They say, Namo vache yachodita chanudita namo vache vachaspataye. It goes on like that. This comes in the Aranyaka Bhag. Now, Rigved lifestyle is over. Daily ritual comes in Yajurved. We are coming to the end portion of Yajurved, which is known as Aranyaka. Slowly. So, daily activities, people want to live. How to live, Veda is teaching. You have to live first before contemplating on the Supreme. Before contemplating who you are, all these are there. You should first live, eat. That much we have seen in Rigved. Don't waste your time playing dice or lottery. Go work in the field. Okay? Then if you work in the field, Rigved says, in the Parvata iva vishachalihi indro ive vadrivattishta iha rashtamudaraya idam indro adhidarat. Then it says, if you live well, Parvata iva, you will be strong like Indra. You will be strong like mountain. Like Indra is known for valor. Indro iveva dhruva, steadiness, steadfastness. Dhruva tishta. Not only you, let this society also be strong. So it gives all that. We began with the invocation. Dhruvante Raja Varuno Dhruvan Devo Brihaspatihi Dhruvanta Indrascha Agnischa Rashtam Dharayata Rashtam Dharayatam Dhruvam. Let this society be steadfast. Rashtam, society or country, whatever you take it. Dhruvam, Dridata, steadfastness. Let this society be strong. It seeks strength to Indra. It seeks strength to Varuna. Dhruvante Raja Varuna. I told you. Indra is called Chakravarti, Rajadi Raja. Varuna in Vedic term means Raja. If it is Raja means it is Varuna. Rajadi Raja means Indra. So Indra, the supreme deity, Vedic deity, then comes Varuna. Indra and Agni are more or less on par with each other, but the most eulogies go to Indra, next comes Agni, Varuna, then comes Vishnu, and then comes Marut, all those things. Okay. So, societies started living, then they started doing rituals as prescribed by Veda. To do the rituals, you need a guidebook. That's where the Yajurveda came. And then you need to understand the Yajurveda. So then later part, rishis started contemplating and said, okay, what is the purpose of this mantra? Where should I use? So that explanatory text came. That's where we are. So this is the third phase. First the eulogies, which is Rig Veda. Then the way of living, and one way of living is during sacrifices. Yuj mane Sangati Karana. Or Yuj is Deva Puja. Yuj means, Yajurved comes from the root Yuj. Yuj means first assembly. And Yuj also means praising the Supreme. Deva Puja. Yuj Deva Pujayam. Yuj Sangati Karane. You can take it either way. Okay. So then people started questioning, because people were able to speak and people respected tongue. They didn't waste their tongue in unwanted things. They were very careful. Devim Vacham Ajanayanta Deva. Then how this was daily put into the minds of the people. So if there are any auspicious activity in your neighbor's house, next door or in the society, when that person who is going to perform the yajna or his daily activity, when he sought the blessing, or not blessing in general sense, when he sought the permission of the gathered, parishad, he is asking. Then what he does? Yes, kinchati, whatever I am able to. They are not demanding. Whatever I am able to give, I am giving it to you. Please accept. And you satisfy them. Okay. Then that's where I am coming. Then every day in that any house, these activities will be going on. So every day this get etched in your mind. Namo vache ya chodita chanudita. Don't think that the way you are expressing is only the form of expression. Chodita. Namo vache ya chodita cha anud. Not only the way you are seeing the words as manifested in the form of Shabda, it could be something else which it would have not been manifested or not developed. So always pay attention. That's what it says. Don't underestimate the barking of the dog. Chodita ya chanudita namo vache. Everything is word. In other words, respect everybody. Then it says, Madhu Manishye, Madhu Janushye. Everything is like sweet. That is Vrata. All this Veda says. Then Krishna comes. He is preaching Arjuna. He is coming to the end. Arjuna, that also Krishna tells, Arjuna listens. Okay. So, at the end of his preaching, God is coming. Then he says, Arjuna, you learnt Vedas. So, don't show your ego. Just be polite. How do you know that person doesn't have ego? His gestures, more than his gestures, his speak. If he is with an authoritative tone, people will say, what Veda said, Krishna says to Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, 15th sloka. Note it down. Anudvekakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat. Anudvekakaram. Don't show your anger. Don't show too much emotion when you are speaking. Anudvekakaram vakyam satyam. Be truthful. There is a saying. A person should not speak anything if he is not willing to put it down in a paper and sign it. Which means what? Your speech, your spoken word is as good as your written word. Satyam. Anudvekakaram. Udvekam. Udvekam means forceful. Anu means negative. Anudvekakaram. Vakyam. Don't be bombarding. Listen. Right? They say that. Even when they selected the pontiff recently, people when interviewed, they say that one of the classical characteristics of this particular pontiff was he is a good listener. He knows, in other words, even in managerial skills, they say, if you are a leader, you should be able to conduct the meetings well. How do you conduct meetings well? You listen to people. You be a patient listener, then you give your feedback. This is what Rama did in Yuddhakanda. When Vibhishana comes to get refuge under the feet of Lord Ramachandra, he did not take him immediately. Although he is determined to take, that's a different story. He gives us a life lesson. So he asks the opinion of Sugriva. He asks the opinion of Angada. He asks the opinion of Nila. He asked the opinion of Jambavan. Okay? He was a good manager and a good listener. Then all these people, he knew that they will say, do not take Vibhishana. Then he said, called Anjaneya, lost. Then he said, hey, Rod, I have listened to all my fellow men giving their comments. There is some truth to it. But I weigh the pros and cons. I think pros are in the side of Vibhishana. It is my opinion that you have to trust him because he has left everything. Forget Lanka. He has left his children. He has left his wife. He came and he is standing there in the Akash, in the amber. So that itself shows that he is not here to cheat like Maricha. He has come with wholehearted surrender. So this is my view, but it is up to you. Then Rama also tells, yes, hey friends, I have listened to you. My principle is, I would give refuge to anybody who has come and ask for refuge with true heart. Sakrideva prapannaya tavasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dadami etat vratam mama. This is my vow. But I should also seek your opinion, and I am giving the opinion. I feel this person is good. So you please now do not keep all these inhibitions. Throw it away. Let's work as a group. So listening. So what did Namo Vache Yachodita Madhu Manishye Madhu Janishye. Then it says that. So people then started refining and talking. And it gives so much respect to convey interactions and two-way, multiple ways dialogue. Then when people started interacting, what happens? People had lot of queries. Okay, now I know this is becoming monotonous. I'm getting up, I'm cooking, I'm eating, I'm going to the paddy fields, I'm doing all this. But why am I doing this? What is the purpose? Okay, I eat, Veda says, I now read the book, Sadamanam Bhavati Satayuhu. Veda says 100, but Jyotish Shastra says 120, whatever it is. I'm going to live 100 years. Then what is it going to happen? See, the Vedic literature takes you like that. Society, activity, interaction with the society, with proper instruction. Then people wanted to know what of monotonous life has become monotonous. We know that Jyotishtome, Swarga Kamo. If somebody wants to go to Swarga, Veda says do Jyotishoma. But then Jyotishoma should be done only in Vasanta Rutu. What will I do in 9 months? Then it gave you a catalog of things to do. But it's not occupying my full time. Then people started contemplating. contemplating about who am I? Where will I go? Where did I come from? So they went into an isolation spot. And Veda calls it as Aranyam, means somewhere away from Gramam. Gramam means place. It's Gramam nowadays we call village. In those, Gramam means place where people lived. Aranyam means people where there were no people. So they wanted to, those people who were in quest, they just moved to some place, isolation. It's like storytelling. So, and then in that place, in that isolated place, they started questioning. And all those questions, all that interactions which these people, not one day, not 2 days, over the period, that contemplation, self-contemplation, discussion and dialogue, that they have already learnt before. How to interact. All these things were collectively put in one text known as Aranyakam. So the mantras are all given in terms of one anthology. The anthology of eulogy is known as Samhita. And then how to use these mantras? What is the purpose of this mantra is given in elaboratory text known as Brahmana. The third section, strictly speaking, Vedas only have 3 sections. I will come to that. And all the contemplation about me, the earth, all these, Lord, Brahman, everything is known as Aranyakam. And the last section of Aranyakam takes, people kept on refining, people kept on contemplating. You see the evolution here? When people kept on contemplating, then they were getting close to the reality. And that closeness to the reality is known as Upanishad. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyakam. And if you still want to split Aranyakam is Aranyaka Bhag, and then that section which gets close to the Brahman is known as Upanishad. The word itself gives the meaning beautifully. Let's come there. Upa mane samipe. That text, that knowledge which takes you closer to the Supreme or closer to understanding, whether it is Atma Anubhavam or Paramatma Anubhavam, leave it like that. That is known as Samipe, because you have to get closer. Your thought process should be refined, and then it should focus. Upa means Samipe, near. Shat means sit. It's easy to understand. Upanisha means down. So you are going close to the Supreme and getting close and becoming near. Upanisha, Upanishat. Three phrase, not phrase, 3 syllables, whatever you call it. 3 parts. Upa, Samipe, Ni, Thaja. In Malayala, they call it as Thaja Irundu Ketkunnu. Beautiful. Malayalam sounds rhyming here. And then Shat means sit. That means you are focusing. When you sit, you focus. But when you dance, you don't focus, right? In a way, I'm just giving loose understanding here. So now the text comes to a closure. All things beginning should end somewhere. The text comes to a good closure that gets you closer to the reality or gets closer to the understanding. That is known as Upanishad. Shat mane sit, Upa mane samipe. Now comes the intermediary Ni. Ni means down or bottom. That means giving up the ego. You take it like that. So you are getting closer, given up the ego, seeking the understanding so that you are close to the reality, Brahman. Upanishad. Samhita. Samhita, actual translation is compilation, anthology. Collection of eulogies. Then explanation of these eulogies, the use of them for either your understanding or daily activity, whether it is ritual or day to day, is Brahmana. Brahmana means explanation or essay, put it like that. And Aranyaka is contemplation, either self-contemplation or discussion among people. Then these things get closer and closer and closer, you get refined. And that collection of that material that talks about the reality, your relationship with the reality, is known as Upanishad. Right? So, word, how to express the word. That Krishna says, Rama acts. Normally Krishna will preach, Rama will act. So Rama, Valmiki says, he acted the act. Mrutubashi is very soft spoken. Mitabashi, he will only talk what is needed, not rambling. And Purvabashi, what did I say? Ramayan reflects. Itihasas and Puranas reflect the Veda. So, Mritubashi, soft spoken. Mitabashi, whatever you need to speak, he will speak, not keep on talking. Somebody has addiction like me. In front of camera, professors have addiction, keep on talking. Rama was not like that. Mita mane limited, Mritu mane soft. And Purvabashi, he will be the first one to greet. Hey Rachel, how do you do? It's not that he will wait till Rachel says, how do you do? How is your day going? Which you did today, asked today, right? So, that is Purvabashi. And it also tells Rama was Mita. He will only talk limited, and he will talk, and he will also eat only limited. Mitam bhuktva. He won't be a glutton. And shatam gatva. After eating, always walk. Keep your physical fitness. Mitam bhuktva, shatam gatva. 100 times he walks. That is the way to live. All these have been given in Veda. Krishna preaches. Rama acted. Krishna says to Arjuna, hey Arjuna, anudvekakaram vakyam satyam, but it should pour affection. Console people. Anudvekakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam. It should be affectionate. At the same time, it should be soothing to others. If somebody fall down, don't just mark on him. Which Veda says already, by giving the story of Vishnu and other devatas. Connect this. That story comes in Aranyaka Bhaga. Okay? Connect. Which Krishna says, Satyam Priyam Hitam Chayat. And always contemplate. See how you can refine yourself. It may be a structured living, but at least he preached. Swadhyabhyasanam, Swadhyaya. Always keep on contemplating. And if you do this, automatically the expression from you, what? Manifested in the form of words. Veda again says, Namo vache yachodita chanudita namo vache vachaspataye. See, that will be manifested in the form of words. Collection of words is known as Vangmaya. And that itself is your penance. Because you are very careful in talking not to hurt others. If you do not hurt others, you are in a way helping them to make their day better. This is itself a tapas. You don't need to have a separate tapa. So what I am coming, so much importance is given to, first and foremost, how do you know that you are going to help somebody? If somebody is grieving, of course you can't do anything else. What do you do? Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies, my condolences. Why do you do that? That's a way of expression. Either by texting. In those days, I've already alluded to, there were no text, written text. So people talk. And how do you talk? See Rama, see Veda. Even if an enemy, when enemies people are suffering, somebody died, you are sworn enemy, don't mark. That Veda also tells. That time, oh, it's good that he died. Close. If you are not of help, just be not doing any more mischiefs. See Rama, listen to Krishna. And Krishna categorically says, hey Arjun, you don't have to go to a forest and do the penance. It's easier said than done. This is not easy. And then Valmiki Ramayana in Aranyakanta, beautifully the demon Maricha, who comes and takes away Sita, before doing this he instructs Ravana, beautiful. He says in the world, hey Ravana, there are a lot of people who will only talk nice word. But it is very important to have somebody, some counselor, who always tells the truth that will be like a bitter medicine. But he should have the capacity to tell that in a way that it is not hurting you, but changing you. Sulabha Purusha Rajan Satyam Priyavadinaha. Satatam Priyavadinaha. Hey Ravana, hey Raja, it's always easy to see somebody flattering you. Sulabha, easy. Sulabha Purusha Rajan Satatam Priyavadinaha. Flatter you, mesmerize you. Vakta Srota cha Patyascha Satyascha Patyascha Vakta Srota cha Durlabaha. Those people who are giving you the truth in such a way, you don't get hurt. I'm qualifying it. You don't get hurt, but it does its truth. The true purpose of that word, that dialogue between myself, Maricha was Ravana's mama, uncle, is to make sure you are doing wrong thing. You are in the wrong path to take away Ma Sita. That's wrong. But I'm failing in the way of expression. Sulabha Purusha Rajan Satatam Priyavadinaha. Apriyasya Satya Apriyasya cha Satya Patyascha. I am failing in my duty to convey the truth which is not Priya. Because you wouldn't like me saying, Ravana, your act of taking away Sita is wrong. You wouldn't listen. It's like a bitter pill for you to swallow. But I should be in a position to convey that to you where I am failing. That comes in Aranyakakanda, I guess it's 37th chapter. Verify it. Sulabha Purusha Rajanni Satatam Priyavadinaha Apriyasya cha Patyasya. Patya mane, you know, people in Telugu and all will understand. Patya, Kannada also will understand. Patya mane, to have a very reduced meal, or it is bitter pill. Take it like this. Apriyasya cha Patyasya Vakta, the one who speaks. And if you tell this, that listener will not also be happy. Srota cha Durlabha. That's difficult. But that is what speech should do. Speech should relay the bitter thing in a way that it makes its effect, which we know Maricha failed because Ravana did not listen, and he instructs his uncle to go and take away Sita, and Ramayana goes. So Ramayana shows by action, Krishna tells. So the importance of living in a society is to interact. You know, one of the things in the Western world is isolation that leads to mental health. In India and that part of the world, nobody pays much attention to mental health. Of course, I'm not saying that the society is devoid of health. It is there. But here in these societies where isolation, independence, people focus more on mental health. That is the reason. Because you have to express and convey. You have to express your feeling. And the manifestation of that is through words and through hearing. That is Shabda, that is word. Even the Western theological text, John 1, I guess, says, in the beginning there was word, and word was with God, and word was God. See, John 1, I guess. Look at that, Gospel John, I guess, if my memory serves me correctly. So, in the beginning there was word. That's what Sanatana Dharma says. Nada Brahmam, Shabda Brahmam. You cannot separate God from his breath. Yasya nisvasito vedaha. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad are the two lengthy Upanishad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is the last section of Shukla Yajurveda. Chandogya Upanishad is the last section of Samaved. Okay. So, society started flourishing. It tells how you have to interact with the society. First, refine your behavior in terms of words and speech, because speech itself is God. Then, it tells, okay, then always with your words, always make sure you give true knowledge, receive knowledge, be soothing. That also Veda says. We have come a full circle. And this is also practiced in a daily ritual. We saw that when we begin any ritual, you seek the blessing of the gathering. And what the gathering says, hey Manish, hey Yajamana, or Yajamana Patni, hey the sacrifice performer and his wife, we pray and we bless you to have a good speech. Namo vache ya chodita ya chanudita. Which we do. And then comes to the end, the circle comes to the end. Then when you finish your practice, whether a daily practice, daily puja, or any ritual, what you say, it seeks, let this gathering be blessed with knowledge, be blessed with good words, be blessed with good exchange. This is what we say. Ahe budniya mantram me gopaya yam rishayastrai vida viduhu rushassamani yajugumshi sahisri ramruta satam saprata sabham me gopaya. It tells God the knowledge you got. The wealth you have is not the material wealth. The wealth is the corpus of knowledge, which we call Rig, Yajur, Sama. Understood. The mixture of Yajur and Rig is Atharva. So it is understood that it's also included. Okay. Then what this knowledge should do? This knowledge should refine you. See, it tells how to be in the society. Then it says, every day you come to this gathering, you do this, you invoke this mantra. Those days, people knew the meaning. Okay? Now we don't know the meaning. But today you know the meaning. When you finish a puja, do the harati. Right? Then there's no connection between doing this harati and the mantra we recite. They made sure that at least in Arati, everybody will come closer. Otherwise, people will be talking, doing WhatsApping and other thing. But when they do this bell ringing, whether it's in any worship place, they ring the bell. They call. There's a different way. That's a different way of doing things. All the people gather towards the idol. Right? Then, why do you say this? When everybody is congregated, when everybody are paying attention, you tell to that people, hey, don't think about your watch from Switzerland. That's not the real wealth. The real wealth is the true knowledge. Because you are a Sanatani, the true knowledge is in Rig, Yajur and Sama. Then, what it has say, it's when you do the Harati, there's no relevance between this. Have you ever thought? Have you ever asked your priest? Marthand is there. Ask him, why there is a relevance here? That is Veda. Can you believe how much they would have thought? Okay, at least I drum this up to this gathering daily. When they finish, what they should do? They should slowly start attaching towards true knowledge. Create the habit of learning, which we already studied with the story between Bharadwaja and Indra. We have studied that story. So keep learning. If you learn what this gathering is going to do, good knowledge, whether good way of eating, physical activity, mental activity, emotional activity, all these are understood. This society will be much refined. Saprata sabham me gopaya. Saprata. That means refinement. You get this knowledge, you will be refined. Preach this knowledge to others. So let the society be refined. What is the significance between showing the camphor and this mantra? Ask next time when you go to Pujari. Test his skill. 50% may be knowing the connection, 50 may not, but you preach them. That's what it is. Bodhayantah parasparam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Lord Krishna. So, saprata sabham me gopaya yecha sabhya sabha sabhyata. You would have learnt this in the word. So, by learning, by interacting, by exchanging of ideas, you refine. Saprata sabha. Sabha means parishad, sabha, gathering, society. Saprata sabham me gopaya yecha sabhya sabha sada. I told you, Vedas have their own way of intonation. So, it's now you recite it as a mantra, you get it by heart. But that's not the only motive of Veda. There were no written scripts, so it had its own way of telling you with intonation, swaras and all that, which we have seen. But we should not be carried away only by that. The purpose of the Veda is to understand the purpose. Saprata sabham me gopaya. It's easy to memorize because it's structured like that. Which Aurobindo says, full of ancient forms. He put it in a nice English which I can't do. In the Secret of Veda, Aurobindo talks about it. Anyway, so saprata sabham me gopaya yecha sabhya sabhasada. Sabhya mane sabhyata, refinement. The entire sabha, entire gathering, entire society, entire community, get it refined day by day. Sabhasadaha. Saprata sabham me gopaya yecha sabhya sabhasadaha. Tan indriyavata kuru. Control your senses. And hey God, because these people are getting refined, Veda gives you confidence that I am sure that these people will use their indriya, physical, mental, emotional, all to the good purpose. Sarvamayurupasatam. By this way of living, they will reap the full life given to them. 100 years. And don't be greedy beyond that. How beautifully in a poetic form, in the ancient form, Veda does, people memorize. But then why did the rishis or why did the preceptors bring this mantra, which is in the Brahmana Bhaga of Yajur, immaterial, whether you are a Samavedi or a Rigvedi or Atharvavedi or Tantrika, whatever it is, you use this mantra. Why? At least we are telling what is real wealth. Use that knowledge. Use your indriyas, use your sense organs, use your physical organs, use your faculties in a good way. Help others. If you do that, you will live your full life. Tan indriyavata kuru sarvamayurupasatam. You will be an upasak. You will be a practitioner till you die. So you have to sit like that. Then think, Vanamali, Gati, Sharngi, Chanki, Chakri, Chanandaki, Sriman, Narayana, Vishnur, Vasudevo, Abhirakshatu. Your life should go. Don't depend on anybody. Just like that, go. It's really difficult, but at least let's move on. Hinch on. Sahana vavatu, sahano bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahe. Tejasvinavaditamastu madviddishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have come up to Aranyaka later back. Then we will see little bit on Upanishad because there are 1008 Upanishad, but 10 to 12 are well researched, well documented. We'll try to cover that, and that will finish 25% of our class. Mangalani Santu. Shubham.